look familiar to you. So this is the law diffusion of innovations. It was developed by Everett Rogers in the 60s. He has a book called The Diffusion of Innovations, and I think it's on its 5th or 6th version. And it's really interesting to read if you're into that kind of thing. So what it is he said that any group of people, there are 5 segments. There are the innovators, the early adopters, the early majority, the late majority, and the laggards. And like I said, you may have heard these things before. So this theory is about how a change or an idea spreads through a population over time. So the innovators are the people who are standing in line for 6 hours to buy an iPhone, and the laggards are still using a rotary phone if they can buy them. The idea is that each segment influences the next. And that in terms of how quickly an idea spreads through the population or a change, the important bit here is around the tipping point. So you have your innovators and early adopters. The tipping point is at, oops. Well, let's see if it'll let me write on here. Let's see. So the tipping point is here at 16%. And that, according to this theory, is that that's where the momentum is that triggers the widespread adoption. So, you know, so it sort of is lower, lower, lower. And then when it hits here, it goes up, oops, quite high. So this is the model that I use, and I'll show you. And it's been, that you can have a Google. It has been researched so many times. It was originally developed for technology adoption, but it has been proven over the years to work in any scenario. So how do we work with each of these groups? These are just some very general examples of how to work with each group. And you'll see at the bottom, it says there's a source. This is from, it's actually a PDF document from Les Robinson. He wrote a book called Changeology, which is a really good book. But he's done this really brilliant summary around the law diffusion of innovation and how to work with people. So it's one of the resources I'll share with you later. But I've just taken his examples because I thought they were quite good. So basically, the innovators are people that you want to track down because they're usually already doing things. So you can learn a lot from them. They're generally really big influencers in the particular area that they're passionate about. And they're really brilliant people to bring on early in the process to help with the planning and design of whatever it is you're working on. Because like I said, they're usually already doing things. And so you could really learn a lot from them. Whether it's their expertise or their experience implementing something with a particular group or within an organization. The early adopters are the people who, you know, once they hear what's going on and see some of the things that the innovators are doing, are keen to get involved. So again, you want to engage them early. Again, they're also influencers usually in their area for that particular topic or technology or whatever it is that your hobby, whatever it may be, whatever you're promoting. And you can really use them to, you know, be peer educators, help spread the word, that type of thing. Early majority. So you'll see as we go through. So basically, the further we go to the right here, they become more risk averse. So the early majority, so creating buzz, getting people interested, you know, communicating feature stories, you know, making things, you know, really simple for people to use, providing strong support. Late majority. So this is where you start focusing on social norms because they become the people who are participating because, oh, well, everyone else is doing it now, I guess I should. And then the laggards, we tend to not actively engage the laggards because, as I said, they're still buying rotary phones if they can buy them. So laggards will only usually adopt a change when they have no choice. For example, with Teams, some people weren't using it before COVID, but then COVID happened and they had no choice. It was the only way people were working, so the laggards had to use Teams. So anyway, this just gives you an idea of how to work with them. So one other thing to mention is part of this law diffusion of innovation. So it's around adoption, right? Change adoption. So part of it is social approval, and part of it is some other factors that Everett Rogers has indicated that help improve the probability of adoption. And I tend to weave these into my planning and my communication. So first one's relative advantage. Is it better than what's available or what we're already using? Is it compatible with habits, values? Is it compatible with the way we work or the systems we use? Complexity, so how easy is it to use? Can I trial it on a limited basis? So it's just remove some of the risk, right? I can just try it a little bit and I'm not committing to anything. And if I don't like it, then, no, there's no loss there. Observability. So that's really key is, around social approval is for them to be able to observe those, innovators or early adopters or early majority using it and, getting their opinion. So for example, I would say I'm an early adopter, but my friend Steve is an innovator when it comes to technology. So when the new iPhone comes out, he's standing in line for 6 hours to get the new iPhone, and I'm at home waiting for Steve to get it because I let Steve stand in line for 6 hours and then he uses it, and then I get him to come over and he shows me his phone and he tells me what he thinks, and he shows me all the new things, and then I go, oh yeah, that's good, and then I go and buy one. So it's social approval in action there, and it's the observability piece, right? Being able to observe other people's experiences and their opinions, because we are influenced by the group before us. Is really important to know, their opinions.